6 o'clock. We will call the meeting to order. John, if you would call roll.
Jill Plankus,
Here.
Linda Noss,
Here.
Doug Holtz,
Here.
Jill Doyle,
Here.
Bob Beaudre,
Here.
Jimmy Cox.
Here.
Nice. Thanks, Jimmy. We have a quorum.
Full board, thank you very much. Okay, next item, the approval of the RDC minutes from last week's meeting. Comments, questions?
We got those changes made and reposted.
Okay,
I have no questions. I move we accept the minutes of the December 13th, 2021 meeting.
thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Second, Joe Blankets.
Okay, John, you want to call roll?
Yes. Bob Beaudre.
Well, I wasn't here, so I'll just abstain.
Okay, that's fine. Jill Doyle,
Aye.
Doug Holtz,
Yes? Aye?
Linda Noss,
Aye.
Joe Plankus.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, approval of claims. John, are there any claims for us to approve?
There are no claims. I confirmed that with Deb. Thanks for the emails to get me back, but Deb was pedaling as fast as she could, and everything that she sent, we had already covered it last time.
Okay. We like no claims, thank you. Okay. Next item, the ratification of the Grand Park user agreements. Matt? The floor is yours. But Matt and/or William?
William Knox, Grand Park Director. I guess I'll do this for one last time, but those agreements attached were all the agreements that have been signed since our last meeting. So they are presented to you today for ratification.
Questions?
Do we have a lawyer here tonight listening in?
Yeah, Cam is online.
Cam is online, okay. All right.
I'm here. Sorry, I was triple booked this evening, so I'm attending everything virtually. So, good evening.
Okay, I have a couple questions, and I did talk to William this afternoon, but I'd like to kind of ask them in front of everyone. There was a user agreement from an entity in Mexico with a Mexico address, and my question was, would it be more appropriate on those to, on the monetary amounts, use the USD, US dollars notation? So there is no confusion, and any other country we would have, we could easily add a USD. So I'm glad Cam is here. Maybe he can answer that legally from that. Do you want to answer that, or I can go on to another question?
No, sure. I think that would be fine to add that in the future. I think that is the default currency, and because the contract deals with an event that would be held here in the state of Indiana and the United States, I think that is the default. So it would be widely understood. Not a bad suggestion for future international users, just to be clear there. But it's, I think that is the basic understanding.
Okay. Another question, there were 25 of these and 276 pages. I always like to put that on the record. I had asked about an event management company called Sbd Event Management, and I guess they just do a lot of soccer and a lot of sports, so we see their name over and over, and I just wanted to understand what that relationship was. It's not like a management company like his management company or Bullpen. It's just a group putting this together. They're located in Westfield. You can add to that if you need to clarify that, William. The SNKR, the sneaker culture, I think they had a wrong address on their agreement, but they did have the user's name is Devin Faulkner, and his address is here, so I think perhaps that's okay. But just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and that's, in that particular agreement, that's a section that the signee fills out. It's supposed to be the copy to his attorney, and for whatever reason, he put the wrong address in there. But that section in the agreement, when it's sent over through DocuSign, the signee fills that out, and he might have just been a little confused. But.
Okay. but it shouldn't invalidate that by any means. And William and I talked a little bit about the rate card, because you look at some of these schedule of payments, and, you know, it's the same number of hours at, for example, the EC3, but you'll see different rates. So we discussed that sometimes it's a daytime and evening time and off-season.
Yep,
You
so
have
the
different rate cards at
is
different
subject
times?
to the time of day and the time of year. So there's a varied rate card depending on when they are taking rental of that particular space.
When they're gonna use it, okay. The other question I had, and I wanted to ask this with Cam listening, in that we do have some contracts with the school, and since the RDC is the city, and because the school is a tax base different than the city's tax base, because the school includes the city and all the township, whereas the city RDC is strictly the city, and that's how we pay for this park. I wondered if legally we were, there were any questions about us not charging the school, since it's a different tax base rate, or giving them a different rate. And I go back to, Washington Township got dinged for using their money in other townships, and they were told, you can't do that because it's a different taxing entity. So I guess I'm asking you, Cam, I ran this by William, he thought we could ask it, but are we in any, is there any concern there?
No, it's effectively an intergovernmental contract, which is okay to set a policy and do that on a discrete basis. I would say anytime that there is sort of an ongoing financial agreement that is sort of year over year or dealing with revenues, there's a test for what requires an interlocal agreement. And given that these are specific instances of use in a user agreement in format, I don't believe this meets that test. And so really it effectively is, so long as you're okay not charging the schools to utilize the park facility, then I think that is fine.
Okay. You're suggesting maybe we don't do it too often? Did you say that?
Yeah, these are discrete instances,
Discrete, yeah.
and not something that is an ongoing sort of year-over-year basis. So that's really the test in intergovernmental contracts of this nature is this a longer term where we're sharing services or we're
feedback.
Okay. I just didn't want anyone to question us on that at any point. I wanted, you know, if we did get asked, we had an answer. Thank you,
Certainly.
Cam. That's all I had on those.
Any other questions on the user agreements? If not,
I would just jump in and say that if somebody wants to, if you all want to let us use the facility for free as a school board representative, I'd be okay with that.
we will definitely consider that, Jimmy.
Appreciate that, everybody.
You bet. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the current Grand Park user agreements.
I'll make a motion to approve the current Grand Park user agreements.
Okay?
I'll second.
Sounds good.
Second, Joe Plankus.
He must be on a delay.
There's a delay. Okay, thank you very much, Jill and Bob. John, would you call a roll, please?
Joe Plankus,
Aye.
Linda Noss,
Aye.
Doug Holtz,
Aye.
Jill Doyle,
Aye.
Bob Boudre.
Aye.
Okay. We have three public hearings on the declaratory resolution, one for the Aurora Tiff, one for the Eagle Town, and one for Lantern Commons. We will open them individually, so time is 6:09. We will open the public hearing on the declaratory resolution for the Aurora Tiff District Amendment. Are there any comments?
Kevin, have you gotten any emails?
We have not received any emails.
Okay.
Thank you.
Having no comments from the public and no emails, we will close the public hearing at 6:09. Do we need to seek a motion for this, John?
Cam, could you give us some instruction there?
No, I think in your capacity, acting as the presiding officer over this meeting, you're in your capacity to open and close the public hearings.
Okay, public hearing is closed at 6:09, and the declaratory resolution is accepted.
Thank you.
It's 6:10. We will open the public hearing on the declaratory resolution amending the Eagletown Tiff District. Any
Slight
comments from the
clarification.
public? Yes,
Doug, I'm sorry to interject, but
go ahead.
we'll do let's keep the public hearings separate, and we'll run through each of those. And then the next agenda item is the consideration of the actual resolutions, the confirmatory resolutions. So I think at this point, if we focus on opening and then closing public hearing any and all comment and remonstrance, and then there are individual resolutions for each of these amendments to be considered and voted on, and that will require a vote. So if we keep that separate, that's cleaner.
So do the public hearing and then next have a vote on them?
No, do each of the 3 public hearings, and then as you move down in your agenda, then you will consider and vote on the confirmatory resolutions one by one.
Okay, sounds good. We will open the public hearing at 6:11 for the declaratory resolution amending the Eagletown Tiff District. Any comments from the public, or John, any comments emailed in?
Kevin, do you have any email comments?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we will accept that. We will close the public hearing at 6:11. We will open the public hearing at 6:11 on the declaratory resolution amending the Lantern Commons Tiff District. Any comments from the public, or John, any email, or John or Kevin, any email comments?
No email comments.
Okay. We will close the public hearing at 6:11. With that, if I understand, Cam, if I understand you correctly, we will now take a motion and vote on each of these confirmatory resolutions. So,
That's correct, Doug.
okay, so I will accept a motion for the confirmatory resolution amending the Aurora Tiff District.
So moved. Joe Plankus.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Is there a second?
Second, Linda Nass.
Okay, John, would you call roll, please?
Yes. Bob Beaudry,
Aye.
Jill Doyle,
Aye.
Doug Holtz,
Aye.
Linda Nass,
Aye.
Joe Plankus.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes. Thank you. We will now accept a motion for the Eagletown, for the confirmatory resolution amending the Eagletown Tiff District. I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the Eagletown TIF District.
Thank you, Jill. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. John, would you call roll?
Joe Plankus,
Aye.
Linda Nass,
Aye.
Doug Holtz,
Aye.
Jill Doyle,
Aye.
Bob Beaudry.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we will, for the consideration of the confirmatory resolution amending the Lantern Commons TIF District, I will accept a motion for that.
I guess I'll make a motion to accept the declare.
Thank you,
Confirm
Bob.
resolution.
Motion by Bob Beaudry. Second.
I'll second.
Joe Plankus, second.
I have a question.
John, you get to pick which one. Okay, we have a second. Linda, questions and discussion.
Okay, well, my question on this one is, since we are dissolving and terminating the Lantern Commons, I would just like a clarification and understanding of what are we left with at that point? Where do we begin if we want to set this up again, and maybe Cam can go through the procedures?
I believe Jim Treat's on the line to answer that
Oh,
question.
Jim's on the line too. Okay, didn't know that. So whoever wants to answer that, but so we understand, because these other two were different. This one, it'll just totally be gone, so.
Go ahead, Jim.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Linda. You're right. This one is different. And the reason it's different is because we want to wait till after the first of the year to reestablish it. Because the parcel that is going to be developed commercially as of late this year was in the process of being, well, they had new owners It's being consolidated from 4 parcels to 1 parcel, Linda, and then it's going to be also reclassified from undeveloped residential to undeveloped commercial. All that doesn't become effective, though, on the county side of whether to do things until January 1. So we want to wait till 2022, so then when we set up the new area, then everything's in place, or we just set up a new TIF area with that one new parcel that's correctly set up and is correctly classified, and we will be ready to capture all the new anticipated project activity that's going to happen there this year, starting this year. So that was the reason why we didn't do it right away, because we needed that to occur as of 1/1. So we will be back with another resolution to establish a new area and go through the same process just for Lantern Commons, but we couldn't do it in one motion like we did with Aurora.
Okay, so
Does that answer your question?
this will take several legal steps to reestablish it.
Just like what
Or
we
two.
just did. Yeah, there'll be a
Okay.
confirmatory resolution, then there'll be a and does it have to go to the council too, Cam?
Yeah.
On that one?
Yeah, we'll
Set
go,
up the new,
we'll go
so
right
then it'll
back
go to the council, then it'll come back to you. So the same thing we've done in the last month here on these 3, we'll come back and do it again, but there was just no way around it. We really needed it to be cleaned up, set up as a new, fresh commercial area, with the 1 parcel. And so it's all, and the county's aware of what you're doing, and we're all in sync here, Linda, so.
Okay. Just wanted to understand where we were, so that was clear for us. And can I
Yep.
ask you two gentlemen, these 3 resolutions, when the council approved them, we don't have any dates by the signatures. Let's see, for the mayor's signatures, wouldn't it be cleaner if we went back and got dates on these? This is under their resolution 21-140, what they did at council, 141 and 142. I'm just doing a little housekeeping here. Should we not have had those dates? Anyone can answer.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to input those dates. We know that they were approved and adopted on the 13th by virtue of the meeting and as documented already in their minutes. But it would be good to document the dates that those were signed. I think legally speaking, they're effective as adopted since they were voted on and approved in that meeting, and we know that, which is the necessary predicate for this step by the commission, which is the public hearings and the confirmatory resolutions. So I think the date is a good housekeeping measure. It legally does not frustrate the end goal to finish up these resolutions or these amendments today by the Redevelopment Commission.
Okay, because the lines are on the documents, and I think Bob needed to sign ours, original ones. You've still got those. Okay. It's just- Yeah.
I
just a
have
housekeeping.
one question for, I guess it would be Jim, but since we're making these changes on the TIF districts, are we going to get an updated TIF map with,
That would be me, and yes.
Yeah.
okay.
As soon as the county has everything updated, I had a conversation today with them. As soon as they have it updated, I now have captured everything as is, and then I'll have a capture of how it will be when they get done, and then I can compare and make sure everything ticks and ties with the documents we're doing now.
Yeah. John, are you sending everything in then, all the executed documents to Lee?
I think Jennifer's been doing that for me.
Okay, well, we'll take care of it. I just wanted to make sure I knew.
Yep, yeah, she's
Just
been
do it.
pretty
Yeah.
Jennifer on the spot instead of Johnny on the spot.
How soon I don't know how soon they update the GIS, Linda, on the county map. That's the only thing. I always look to the GIS and put the TIF layer on as another check too.
Right.
But Lee, they'll send both John and I all the new parcel list, and that's one of the things housekeeping wise we'll do to check them back to the resolution that Cam put together for you guys that you approved to make sure that it's got the right parcel or parcels on it. And then And then the map stuff will follow from that.
And then, John, remember that we had those budget documents where the TIF was on the front and the back was the budget, and
Yeah.
Leanne was gonna complete those. So will we get those completed
I'll
as of all
probably,
these changes?
as probably, given the resource constraints, my preference would be we just do the new stuff.
Do the new stuff?
I
But
mean, if you really want to go back and get that stuff, I can
I don't know that
task
we
her-
have to go back, but we
but
talked about
we-
how
yeah.
nice it'd be to have those.
Yeah, and with this new, once this is all done and the documents are completed at the county, that you'll receive a fresh update, and you'll also receive fresh, new financial information, because we will have gone through another round of the Pay 22 stuff.
Okay. Since, Jim Treat, if you're still on the line, can you answer me, because I didn't fully research this, but in the South Side TIF district, where there is the retreat on the Monon, which are in the TIF district, but those are for sale townhomes, are those parcels listed inside that TIF or not? Because now we're going to add some commercial development down there at 146, which is in that same TIF. So are we in the same position we were with Lantern and Eagletown and some of these others? Or is that a clean TIF district?
No, I don't think Southside is either. It doesn't, is that the one that doesn't have any increment either, John? I don't have that one list in front of me.
You're correct, Jim, and that's another opportunity to get reorganized, but at this point, it didn't make sense because we didn't have it just
Yeah,
didn't make
there's
sense.
no income right now,
Exactly.
but there's going to be some
But there-
building down there at
and that's-
146, and
So we
maybe
had a
should
little bit,
clean it up at the same time.
we have a little bit more runway, and so
Okay.
we were gonna take advantage of that.
Okay.
Okay,
Any other questions on Aurora, Eagletown, or Lantern Commons? We have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions, comments? If not, John, if you could call roll.
I certainly can. Joe Plankus,
Aye.
Linda Noss,
aye.
Doug Holtz,
Aye.
Jill Doyle,
Aye.
Bob Beaudry.
Aye.
Okay. John, is there any other business to come before the commission?
I do not show any at this time.
Can I ask a couple questions on some unfinished business, maybe? We talked about the TIF maps. Did we ever get the audits for the 2019 and the 2021 Colts Camp required by that contract?
I'll let William address that.
Okay.
Audits for the
The
annual.
Colts Training Camp
Yes, I think we
annual
do
audits.
have those. I think we sent them over to John, but I can recirculate those. So essentially from 18, 19, skip 20 and 21, we'll have gross revenues, gross expenditures within the net profit for those in individual years. We also show some of the improvements that have been made to the campus as a result of the Colts being on site, and then our media value. So all of those are kind of stacked on top of each other. I think we have it. So I can get with Matt and get that circulated pretty quickly.
Well, the agreement only asked for it to begin in 2019. We skipped 20 and then 21, but they were supposed to be submitted to the Colts by September 30th, so
Yes.
that if we didn't receive enough in concessions
Yep.
and parking, they'd pay the
And
difference up
that
to
has happened this
$100K.
year. Yes, that did
Okay.
happen this year, and I
Since that's
believe
supposed to
that's
come-
already been submitted. So, yeah.
Supposed to come to the RDC. I'd just like us all to see
Yep,
it.
we will, so in the past, we've not shared that, let me just say, it's not been requested, but we can make a normal practice to share that post once we've done with camp, so that you guys can have it, probably maybe at the August, or probably it would be better served at the September meeting. We'll just make a habit to include that.
That's just the letter
Yep,
of the
nope,
agreement.
we can do that.
Thank you.
Members, I have asked Matt and William to put together a presentation for these, basically these sheets. I think there's so much to talk about with Colts Camp. I think when we're just looking at the numbers, it's such an incomplete picture, and I'd really like them to speak in front of you. You guys get to ask a lot of questions about what Colts Camp really is and the reach of Colts Camp. And so that's part of the delay too, is I really want a presentation
John,
to
and
occur.
William, is that something we could expect by the February meeting? January
Oh,
meeting,
yeah.
February meeting?
I know the January meeting will probably be a little busy because we plan to share the capital plan. So we could definitely have we can share the numbers prior to then, but we can have the actual presentation
Perhaps by the
for the
February
February meeting, if that's acceptable.
And I'm asking, I mean, I'm obviously not my role. It's just important, I think, for
This
you.
is Joe Plankus. Doug, this is Joe Plankus.
Yes.
We should have the presentation and numbers presented at the same time, otherwise there's going to be
Yeah.
misunderstandings of what some of the things might show. It's got to be done at the same time, not at two separate times. So William, if our schedule is such for our agenda and we don't want to meet earlier, let's say in January, and make it a very long meeting, and we go to February, that's fine, but let's do both things at the same time so that we can ask questions as that slides go up, and then we have the backup documentation with it.
What I think I can commit to is having the presentation ready for the January meeting. And if we have time, I want to make sure we allow time to go through the capital plan. If we have
Yeah.
time, we can do
Yeah.
both. If not, we can table.
Yeah, I would request that we do have adequate time for the meeting and the presentation, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
wouldn't it make sense
Absolutely
to have the
adequate
numbers?
time, no rushes.
I mean, wouldn't it make sense to have the audit numbers ahead of time so we could look them over, and if we have any questions, we're
I
prepared?
think what we could do is provide you the presentation prior to the meeting so you can go through it, and then we'll present here so we can give that to you a week or so in advance, and then we can present here, and that way you'll have time to formulate questions before you're not looking at it for the first time during the meeting.
Right.
We can definitely work towards that.
That works.
I just
works.
want to clarify that what I was bringing up is actually a section of that training camp agreement which specifically requires that we prepare this, we get it to the Colts by the September 30th date, and that the RDC, it's the RDC who.
And I, just to
is in charge,
clarify,
so.
some of these things in the past historically, and this is probably a question better asked of Cam, when it states in agreements or documents the RDC, since we technically act on your behalf during the operational periods, we've just always taken on that responsibility. If that is not the way it's supposed to operate, this is a really good time for us to kind of realign that. So that might be more of a legal question, but we definitely will have the presentation prepared and in your hands at least the week prior to our meeting. And then, like I said, depending on time, we can
Yeah.
cover both.
I think it just behooves us to see
Yeah.
it, since
No,
that's what the
absolutely.
verbiage
No,
says.
that's-
Not that I
that's
don't think you're not doing it, I just think
100%.
that's what the
Since
the
we're
verbiage
talking
says, so,
Colts
great.
and they beat the Patriots, are we
Yeah.
in discussion regarding spring training or summer training this year?
Well, I think they're a little busy right now. So as soon as typically we start having good conversations about training camp once the season's done, and we hope that for them that's February. So
After the Super Bowl?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we vote for that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, since we don't have an agenda that lists old business, new business, and sometimes it's important to follow up on some of those things, do we have anything coming forward from the Grand Millennium? At one point, they're on the agenda, was it a withdrawal? I mean, where does that stuff
There's
go?
nothing coming, Linda.
No-
There's
Nothing
nothing at this
coming?
point that they presented.
Okay, so that's all been, okay.
That's in their court. They bring it forward when they feel they want to bring it forward.
Okay. Well, I was just looking back at some old agendas, trying to make sure that things didn't fall in a hole somewhere, so.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to have old business listed on the minutes or whatever, or the meeting agenda, so that, I mean, because sometimes it seems like things get passed, forgotten about or something. And I mean, they do that for the council.
I'll work with John to see what we can do, Bob.
Yeah,
It would just be helpful for us, I think, to jog our memory and to make sure that we follow up on this stuff.
well, even tonight to make a
Yeah,
statement
we'll see what
about
the
tree
best format
runners,
is.
what we can expect. We kind of track some of these things.
Okay. Any other questions or additional business or other comments?
Do you have any questions?
Hearing none?
Can we, who's online tonight? Can we have a report of that? Jim was there, and
Jim,
Cam
Cam,
and-
Joe? Jimmy?
Kevin, Joe,
Joe
Jimmy?
Plankus?
Is Todd
Okay.
online? Todd Bertrand?
Yes, Jimmy's here.
Okay. You're saying Todd Bertrand? Oh, I didn't hear Todd. Was Todd Bertrand on? No.
I don't
Okay.
believe so. Okay.
He's
With
missing
that, I'll seek a
lot of
motion
meetings.
for adjournment.
So moved.
Done? Second?
Second?
Meeting is adjourned. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And John has things for us to sign.
Merry Christmas all.
Sign.
Thank you all for being on the meeting tonight. Meeting is adjourned.